I'm Nate Johnson, the Fit Future MD, your host. Make sure you shop at intercell.com. Pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt today and use code FitFutureMD for 20% off. All right, guys. So today in life coaching, we got Frank. Frank is 29 years old, realizing they're spending $400 a month on subscription apps. Right? Between streaming, other apps, and they rarely use all of them. And he rarely uses all of them, right? He feels overwhelmed but guilty when he starts to cancel them. So what do you do here, right? You come with somebody who's got, $400 a month in subscriptions, and you're paying for cable, right? So I think that's really a big misconception, is that, this streaming thing was better, but, now that everybody has their own streaming service, it's actually more expensive than cable was, right? And now they have these lower tiers with ads anyway, so you're watching them all with the ads anyway. It's like, why did you even, go to streaming in the first place, right? It's just how I feel about it, but, so obviously we're going to go into your iPhone settings. We're going to go up there and we're going to go to subscriptions, and we're going to hit cancel on all of them. All right, just cancel it right there from the get it. Pull the cord, cut the cord right there from the beginning, right? Like $400 a month, that's basically a car payment, right? We're not spending a car payment on streaming apps, right? Number two, you got to look at your goals because, if your goal is to just hang out and chill and, not get married, not have children, not raise a family, then you can keep your $400 a month subscriptions, as a regular person, as a normal person, right? Also, do you want to have a business? Do you want to have, what do you want? Do you want to stay where you're at? Do you want to move up the ladder? That kind of thing. Like, moving up the ladder requires, you to work a little bit more, right? You're not just going to be working an 8-hour day, right? If you want to move up the ladder. So you don't need these subscriptions in the first place, right? Like, honestly, so if you just want to, know what happened on a TV show, like, you can go to ChatGPT and ask what happened on a TV show and read about it. Instead, take 5 minutes, read about it, so that you can have it in conversation if somebody brings it up in the office that you're trying to move up in, right? And honestly, $400 a month can be the difference between your business being successful and your business failing. So you're starting a business, $400 a month is, kind of a big deal, right? So keep that in mind. But basically, like, if you don't have somebody splitting these streaming apps with you, right? The only ones that I would have is Pluto TV, Tubi, like the ones that are free, right? You might have Prime Video because you use a Prime subscription to buy things instead of going to the grocery store or going to the store. Stuff like that, but and that also comes with music. That also comes with so you got TV, you got music, you got movies, a lot of the stuff that Amazon offers, right? But so you might have Amazon, but then mostly you're going to have TV, Tubi, and Pluto TV, right? As far as subscription go, you're not going to have, you're not going to be paying for these other ones, right? You're just not. And, honestly, when you cut the cord on TV, and YouTube, right? So, I used to watch every football game, obviously now they've expanded to Thursday, Sunday, Monday, but I used to watch every football game Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? Every football game that was on. Now, instead of doing that, I've pulled my time back and I have made it where I watch the games I want to watch. So I watch my Panthers, I try to watch ECU if I can, if it's on ESPN Plus, but which I don't pay for. but like I say, if I didn't have it, somebody else didn't pay for it, I wouldn't have ESPN Plus, right? I would, watch the highlights on YouTube the next day to see what happened, right? Because the truth is, you're trying to escape the world with this kind of stuff, right? When in reality, if you're building a business, you should be working on the business, as much as you can. You don't need to be escaping reality. Your reality is fun, right? If you're doing a business, right? Coming up with these cool sayings for Instacell.com, that's fun, right? So keep that in mind. As far as you feeling guilty for canceling, that's just irrational, right? So you need to come up with, why it's irrational in your head that, and why you're, feeling an irrational thing, or worried about feelings at all. If $400 a month is over your budget, you got to get rid of the apps. Simple as that, right? So let you guys know what you think in the comments below. How do you feel about your subscription apps, your streaming apps? Is it way too much a month to be streaming stuff? Let me know in the comments below. All right, so this episode is brought to you by London and the Googly Goo, which is my wife's children's book. If you haven't checked out London and the Googly Goo, make sure you go check it out on Amazon or click the link in the description. And, if you got nieces, nephews, or children of your own, it's a great book with a great moral, and I highly recommend it. So go check it out if you're interested. All right, so we got to bring up some stocks today. Got to keep our minds sharp on the stocks. Right, so I talked about how when I first started investing that Robinhood gave me Plug Power as my first stock, and that was like a $5 stock at the time, and it ran to like $25, right? So of course the city Plug Power popped yesterday, popped 13%, and I was like, well, why did they pop, right? So Plug Power popped because they got a $1.66 billion loan from the U.S. Department of Energy, right? So, and they got strong sales growth. So their sales are growing because more people are using electric cars. And then obviously clean energy stocks have been going up anyway. But like I say, we got this stock sitting at $2.82 right now, so which makes it a penny stock. And obviously they're not profitable. If they were profitable, they would be worth a lot more. Let's see. Yeah, so they're losing $2.28 a share, and so this makes them a penny stock that's losing money. So what do you think about Plug Power here? Is this something that with the political climate that we have, is this something that is going to continue to increase, or is this something that's going to continue to go down when we see it, under $2? Or can you get this play right here for $2.82 and hold it long term and really see a huge gain with it, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, what y'all think about Plug Power. Popping 13%, and it's going up a little bit more this morning as of right now. So keep that in mind. All right, so moving on, we got Nvidia, all right? Nvidia is the big boy, the mother of all, the biggest company in the world. So what does the biggest company in the world do? They don't innovate. They buy into other things that are innovating. They buy into other things that are innovating, right? That's what the big boys do, right? They go buy more revenue. So that's basically what they've done. So Nvidia announces strategic partnership with OpenAI. Right? They're going to invest $100 billion into OpenAI. But what's actually going to happen, OpenAI is going to turn around and take that $100 billion and purchase chips from Nvidia, right? So it's kind of genius. And then Nvidia will have a piece of OpenAI, right? So as OpenAI continues to grow, continues to make money, expand, get better, get faster, you know, the partnership's really going to help here, right? So like OpenAI is going to get the chips it needs, the gigawatts of systems that it needs, and Nvidia is going to get this exposure to artificial intelligence companies that could 10,000x, right? Just become part of everything. Right, let me know what you guys think about this partnership with OpenAI. Is Nvidia, so Nvidia's got a partnership now with XAI. They got a partnership with OpenAI. I'm pretty sure Zuckerberg is buying a crap ton of Nvidia chips as well for Facebook's AI. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this partnership. Like I say, I'm obviously not really talking about whether you should invest in Nvidia or not. It's the big boy, right? So, you know, that's kind of what your pension funds and all that kind of stuff, they're going to be going into that. So as far as buying that as an individual stock, you know, kind of doesn't make any sense. But you let me guys know what you guys think. Obviously, it's not financial advice. You sign me up as a life coach, I can give you some personal financial advice, but, you know, until then, there's no personal financial advice. It's just for entertainment purposes only, right? But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that partnership. All right, so, and lastly, so we're flying through it today. So we're going to do the quote of the day, right? The reason you keep living the same year over and over and over again is because you're mistaking routine for progress, right? So you see this a lot in the gym, right? You go in every year and no one has changed their body, right? Their body is exactly the same. They've been doing the same routine, you know, for 15 years, and the people in there are not, like, their bodies are not changing, right? You know, they've been doing the same meal plan forever, and they're just not getting any better. They're not improving, right? They're not making any progress in the gym. All right, so you see that a lot in the gym. Another place you see this is in, like, your employment, right? So you just do the same routine every day and nothing really ever changes. You don't make any more money. You don't make any less money. You know, that kind of thing. And so there's this idea that, you know, people will come around the next year and they'll feel stagnant. They'll haven't improved anything. Nothing's gotten better. Nothing's gotten worse, but nothing's gotten better. And they just feel like they feel stuck, or, you know, whatever they're feeling. But they've basically mistaken that this routine, you know, is going to make them have progress, right? When the progress is stopped. So you have to figure out what this routine is that you're in, while also figuring out what you can do to have more progress, right? So, for instance, this year, right, I knew that, you know, obviously 16 months ago, I hurt my knees again, right? Both of them. And, you know, I had to figure out, well, how can I rehab these knees, right, so that I can get back to my pre-stuff? How, you know, because right now my knees are basically like, okay, we're basically waiting as long as we can to replace them, right? So it's like, well, how can I extend the life of these knees while also being just as strong as I was before? So I changed up my complete routine. I was a person that always did 10 to 15 reps on everything, 3 to 6 sets on everything. So now, instead of doing that, I changed that up to, you know, I do 3 reps, and I do 6 to 10 sets at 3 reps, right? And so what this has done is instead of it being 45 reps, it's 30 reps, right? Max 30 reps. Most of the time I only do 5 sets, right? 5 or 6. But sometimes to get to the I'm trying to lift heavy, right? So to get to the heavy weights, it might take 4 or 5 sets to get up to that heavy weight, right? So I'm still lifting heavy, right? And obviously, I'm bigger and stronger than I was for sure. But I hadn't seen gains in the gym in a long, long time, right? I hadn't been getting stronger. I've just kind of been maintaining. But this changing to this method has made it where my gym gains are through the roof, right? I'm back in the 1,000-pound club. Like I say, I hadn't been in the 1,000-pound club probably since I was 22 years old, right? Thinking about it, and it's felt pretty good, right? Like to get back into that kind of stuff. But changing that routine is what caused me to have progress, right? And I changed it because of an injury, because I'm trying to basically extend out, because I'm 38 years old, and I'm probably not going to be able to replace my knees until I'm in my mid to late 50s, right? So I have to figure out how to make these joints last longer, and that's by putting less stress on them, right? So, or not do as many reps. It's just like, so if you got a gear, that gear is not going to turn but so many times before the gear breaks, right? So you're trying to do more work, or stimulate, not annihilate, that kind of thing. So that's what we do. We go up to 80% of our maxes, and we do 3 sets at 3 reps at 80% of our max, and we're seeing huge progress compared to what we were doing with 10 to 15, and never really getting any stronger, right? Like, so that's been great. Like I say, I'm using a gym as the example, but this can happen anywhere in your life, from your job to whatever. You can't keep doing the same routine and expecting something better, right? It's just not going to happen. So keep that in mind, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Really would appreciate it. Obviously, I come up here every day and provide value, so hopefully that you will find value in what I'm giving you. I've called it the Sharp Mind Podcast because obviously we want our minds to be sharp so that we can navigate this new world and go up against AI, right? So I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach. You're looking to set up your life where you start with nothing, you got nothing to lose, and you make something of yourself. Hit me up for life coaching. Shop at InstaSell.com. Pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt today. Buy my wife's book, London and the Google Good, if you got kids or nieces or nephews. Or if you just want to buy it and donate it to the library or whatever you want to do. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.